I didn't know the truth about my husband. I married him without knowing anything about him. If I had known, I would never have married him. At first, he seemed like a great man, kind and attentive. But later, I found out he was different. Let me tell you everything. I met Ethan at a charity event. He was charming, with a warm smile that could light up the room. He approached me with confidence, and our conversation flowed effortlessly. By the end of the evening, he asked for my number, and I, captivated by his charisma, gave it to him. From that moment, we were inseparable. Ethan was thoughtful, always surprising me with small gifts and sweet gestures. He seemed to know exactly what I needed, and for the first time in years, I felt seen and appreciated. When he proposed just 6 months later, I didn't hesitate. I thought I had found my forever. Our wedding was intimate but beautiful, attended by close family and friends. Ethan looked at me like I was the only person in the world, and I felt like the luckiest woman alive. In the first few months, everything was perfect. He was attentive, supportive, and constantly showering me with love. We moved into a cozy apartment and started talking about building a future together. I thought I had found my soulmate. But then little things started to change. One evening, I noticed Ethan was on his phone more than usual, his face lighting up with smiles as he typed away. "Who are you talking to?" I asked playfully. "Just a friend," he said, putting his phone down quickly. It felt odd, but I brushed it off. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? As the months passed, he began coming home later and later. "Work has been hectic," he'd say, his tone dismissive. He grew distant, and our conversations, once filled with laughter, became shallow and perfunctory. One night, Ethan left his phone on the coffee table and went to take a shower. The screen lit up with a message. I tried to ignore it, but something told me to look. What I saw made my stomach drop. There were messages from another woman, intimate, romantic, and filled with words he had never said to me. The messages weren't new. They dated back months, even before we got married. My hands trembled as I scrolled through pictures of them together, smiling and holding hands. When Ethan came back, I confronted him, tears streaming down my face. "What is this?" I asked, holding up his phone. His face turned pale. "Mia, I can explain," he stammered. "Explain," I shouted, my voice shaking with anger. "You've been lying to me this whole time." He tried to apologize, saying it was a mistake and that he loved me. But his words felt hollow. How could someone who claimed to love me betray me like this? For the sake of our marriage and the dreams we had built together, I decided to give him another chance. He promised to cut ties with her, to focus on us. For a while, things seemed to improve. He was more present, more attentive. But deep down, I couldn't shake the doubt. Every time his phone buzzed or he worked late, my mind spiraled with questions. One day, I saw him parked outside a cafe, laughing with her. They looked happy, carefree, as if I didn't exist. My heart shattered all over again. When I confronted him that evening, he had the audacity to deny it. But the evidence was undeniable. "You promised me," I said, my voice breaking. "You promised to end it." He didn't have an answer, only more empty apologies. That night, I made a decision. I couldn't keep living like this, trapped in a web of lies and betrayal. I packed a bag and left, seeking refuge at my parents' house. My parents were shocked when I told them the truth. They encouraged me to work things out for the sake of my future, but I knew in my heart that I deserved better. Living apart from Ethan gave me the clarity I needed. I began focusing on myself, rediscovering hobbies I had long abandoned and reconnecting with friends. I started to feel like me again. Ethan tried to reach out, sending flowers and messages begging for forgiveness. But his words no longer held power over me. I filed for divorce and started planning a future that didn't include Ethan. It wasn't easy. There were nights filled with tears, moments of doubt, and the lingering pain of betrayal. But there was also freedom, a chance to start anew. I took a teaching job in a different city, embracing the opportunity to rebuild my life. In my new city, I found a community that uplifted me. I made new friends, pursued new hobbies, and started therapy to work through my emotions. Slowly but surely, I began to heal. One evening, as I walked through a park, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Life hadn't gone the way I had planned, but it had given me strength I never knew I had. I no longer saw myself as a victim of Ethan's betrayal. I was a survivor, a woman who had chosen self-respect and happiness over settling for less. Now, I wake up each day with hope. I've learned to trust myself again, to embrace the unknown, and to believe in the possibility of love. Not the fleeting conditional love Ethan offered, but the deep, unwavering love I found within myself. If this story resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's continue to uplift and inspire one another through life's challenges. Remember, you are stronger than you think, and happiness is always within reach. Months after leaving Ethan and starting fresh in a new city, I was beginning to feel like myself again. But one ordinary afternoon, as I sipped coffee at a local cafe, I saw someone I didn't expect, Ethan. He looked different, almost haggard, as if the weight of his actions had caught up with him. He approached hesitantly, his hand shaking slightly. "Elena," he said, his voice soft, "I didn't know you'd moved here." Seeing him stirred a mix of emotions. Anger, sadness, and a flicker of the love I once had. But I stood tall, keeping my composure. "What are you doing here, Ethan?" He explained that he was in town for work and wanted a chance to apologize again. "I've lost everything, Elena," he admitted. "And it's my fault." Hearing those words felt like closure. For so long, I had blamed myself for not being enough. But in that moment, I realized his choices were never about me. They were about him. Ethan asked if we could meet again, but I knew that reopening that door would only bring pain. "I've forgiven you, Ethan," I said, looking him in the eye. "Not for your sake, but for mine. But I can't let you back into my life." His face fell, but he nodded understanding. As he walked away, I felt a sense of liberation. I had taken back my power, choosing to protect my peace over reopening old wounds. That night, I wrote a letter, not to Ethan, but to myself. "Dear Elena, you have been through so much. You loved deeply, gave selflessly, and trusted wholeheartedly. But you also endured betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. Through it all, you've grown stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You deserve love that is honest, pure, and unwavering, and that love starts with you." Writing those words felt like a balm to my soul, a reminder of the journey I had undertaken and the strength I had discovered within. In my new city, I began opening myself up to new relationships. Not romantic ones, but friendships that brought joy and connection. I joined a book club, took a pottery class, and even signed up for a hiking group. Through these experiences, I met people who shared my values, my passions, and my zest for life. They reminded me that even after heartbreak, there was beauty in the world waiting to be discovered. A year later, I met someone, Daniel. He wasn't flashy or overly charming, but he was kind, genuine, and steady. Our connection wasn't instant, but it was real. He respected my boundaries, listened to my stories, and never made me feel like I had to prove my worth. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to hope for love again. Not the kind that sweeps you off your feet and leaves you breathless, but the kind that grounds you, makes you feel safe, and builds you up. Trust didn't come easily after Ethan, but Daniel never rushed me. He understood my hesitation, my moments of doubt, and the walls I had built around my heart. One evening as we watched the sunset, he turned to me and said, "Elena, I know your past has left scars, but I want you to know I'm here for the long haul. I won't rush you, but I'll never stop showing up." Those words brought tears to my eyes. For the first time, I felt like I could trust again. Daniel and I took things slow, building a foundation of friendship, respect, and honesty. He wasn't just a partner. He was a teammate, someone who celebrated my successes, comforted me in my struggles, and shared in the quiet, ordinary moments of life. One day, as we walked through the park, he turned to me and said, "Elena, you make me want to be a better man. I don't just see a future with you. I see a home." Those words filled me with a warmth I hadn't felt in years. Even as my life with Daniel blossomed, there were moments when the past crept in. Memories of Ethan's betrayal, the pain of losing what I thought was my forever. In therapy, I worked through those feelings, learning to forgive not just Ethan but myself. I forgave myself for trusting too easily, for staying too long, and for doubting my worth. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. It meant letting go of the pain, allowing myself to move forward without the weight of the past holding me back. One day, I received an unexpected letter from Ethan. He apologized again, not asking for reconciliation but acknowledging the pain he had caused. He wrote, "I see now what I lost, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I hope you found the happiness you deserve." The letter didn't stir up old feelings. It solidified my decision to leave. I wished him well, but I knew my life was better without him in it. Life with Daniel was filled with joy, but it was also grounded in reality. We celebrated small milestones, our first trip together, moving into a shared apartment, and hosting dinner parties for our friends. Each moment felt like a victory, a testament to the love we had built on trust and mutual respect. Love with Daniel taught me something Ethan never could. That real love isn't about grand gestures or fleeting passion. It's about showing up every day, choosing each other even when it's hard, and finding joy in the simple moments. Daniel didn't complete me. I was already whole. But he made life brighter, richer, and more meaningful. As I stood at the edge of a new chapter, I reflected on my journey, the pain, the heartbreak, and the lessons I had learned. I no longer felt anger toward Ethan. Instead, I felt gratitude, for the strength his betrayal forced me to find, for the clarity it gave me about what I deserved, and for the path it led me to. Looking at Daniel, I felt a sense of peace. I had found love, not just in another person but in myself. And that, I realized, was the greatest gift of all. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a moment of self-discovery or found strength after heartbreak? Your journey matters, and together, we can inspire and uplift one another. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that reminds us of the resilience and beauty within us all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.